Yo, what up YouTube? So in today's video I'm showing you how to make these beautiful paint loops for Lil Durk. And yeah, I'm trying to break down every single little detail, all the melodies I used, all the VSTs, effects, and I won't gatekeep anything, so be sure to stick around to the end of the video so you can learn as much as possible. But yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so before I start breaking down anything, let's listen to the loop so you can get an idea of what we are working with. Yeah, beautiful melody, man. Exactly like something you could hear on Lil Durk's album 7220. But yeah, let's start breaking down the melody. So first off, I started off with these keys. These are from Keyscape. I love using Keyscape for these types of melodies. I used the rich palette piano. I went over here to the tone section and I turned the denoise to medium, just so we can get like that high-end hissing sound off. And for effects on the piano, I just added a tiny bit of delay. I turned the feedback model to ping pong. I left the time knob to 3 and I turned the mix level way down. Then I added some reverb. I love using the Valhalla vintage verb for these Lil Durk type of paint loops. I like to turn the low cut all the way up just so the reverb doesn't affect the lower frequencies of the piano. That prevents the sound from getting muddy. And then I turned the mix to around 23-24%. Then I finished off the effects with a basic EQ. I got down the low end and I boosted some of the highs just to make the piano sound a bit brighter. Alright, let's break down this MIDI. Alright, this is a very classical Lil Durk paint chord progression. So essentially what this is just a C minor that goes to A sharp major, that goes down to G sharp major, and that is a very basic Lil Durk type of paint chord progression. And as you can see, I left the C minor shape play throughout the melody, but I just transposed these root notes down to the other chords, and then I added these little melodic filler notes just to add some rhythm and some more substance to the melody. And how I do these is I just listen to the chords. I try to imagine melodies and rhythms on top of the chords, and that's how I came up with these. And yeah, this is trial and error, and you have to take your time when you are trying to make these chord progressions. I promise you, as you make them you will get better, but don't be discouraged if at first you don't succeed. But yeah, relatively simple chord progression. Let's move on with the video. Alright, so once I had the chords down, I added a top line melody. This is the same exact piano with the same exact effects. This is what the MIDI sounds like. Alright, let's listen to the top line melody together with the chords. And a little bit about the note placement. So as you can see, the melodies within the chords are playing right like around this section, so I wanted the top line melody to come right after it, just so there is kind of like an call and response kind of effect going on. And the trick I use to make this MIDI is to use the other blue scale. And how you can get the scale is to go onto this arrow right here, go to view and then scale highlighting and just select other blues. And this scale is perfect for these Lil Durk paint loop top line melodies. And as you can see, I just followed the scale on these notes. And one trick that I love to use is I'm in C minor scale, right? So the root note of the scale is C. So I like to start, like for example, this piano riff right here. I like to start from the one note below the root note of the scale. So that would be A sharp in this one. And when you just follow it up and you get to this part where there are 3 notes together in the scale like this, I like to make this little riff that sounds kind of like soulful and perfect for Lil Durk type of paint melodies. So that is how I made this riff. And then I just copied this over, brought it here, up an octave, removed these notes, and I made that one. This one is just, I just followed the scale and I try to find a nice little melody. Don't have too much of a formula to this riff, and the same thing goes for this one as well. But if you want to learn how to make that one, this one sounds beautiful, go back to the minor natural scale, try to find a space where there are 2 notes together like this, go back to this note, then 1, 2, 3, 4 down, and then just I like to transpose this an octave up like this, and it creates a beautiful melody such as this one. and that is perfect for these pain melodies. And my bad if that was a bit complicating. The moral of the story, AyeVaboo is great scale for the Lil Durk type of pain loops, and you should take your time when you're making these melodies just to get the perfect top line melody for your chords. Alright, let's move on with the video. Alright, so this is probably the part that you have been waiting for. We're going to break down the guitar. I used a VST guitar on this one. I'm gonna break down everything, how I made the guitar, how I made the melody. So for this guitar, I used the Evolution Jazz Archtop. Is my favorite guitar for these kinds of melodies, and I used the Rhythm and Blues preset. It's definitely my go-to preset for this one, and I just added a guitar amp on top of the guitar just to make it sound a bit more realistic. I love using guitar amps on my guitars, especially when I'm using a VST guitar, but this is the MIDI that I made. Alright, so this is a very basic MIDI, but what I did is on my MIDI keyboard I have a pitch wheel which I turned up when I wanted to make the guitar bends, and that's how you can make a more realistic sounding guitar. And make sure that when you are doing these, turn the pitch range to 12 so that the pitch bend can go and full octave up. It's going to make your guitar sound more realistic. I added a guitar bend over here, over to this note and this note. Very simple, but that's how you can make these fire guitar phrases on your own. And yeah, by the way, if you want fire realistic guitar phrases played by professional guitarists for your pain loops, the Ultimate Pain Multi-Kit bundle is available right now. It has over 100 guitar phrases ready to use right now. It also has tons of other stuff, drum kits, one-shots, loops, midis, everything you need to start making these beautiful placement ready pain melodies. But yeah, the kit is available at nitraudios.com. Be sure to go and get it if you want to level up your pain game. But yeah, moving on with the video. Alright, so after I had the guitar down, I rendered it out and I added some reverb. I turned the mixture on 40 and the low cut all the way up. Then I added just a tiny bit of delay to make it sound better, and this very basic low cut to cut down the low end. And yeah, this is what the pianos and the guitar sound like together. Beautiful, man. Alright, once I had all of those down, I added a bass line. This is the Scorey Rickenbacker bass night session preset, and as always I added no effects because I didn't have to. It sounds perfect on its own, and this is the bass line that I created. Yeah, very basic. I just followed the root notes of the chords and then made some little bass runs to help the transition from note to note. And I just followed the scale and made these little runs up and down the scale. And little tip, when you are using the Scorey Rickenbacker bass, make sure that you overlap your notes like this so the bass sounds more realistic and it makes that sliding sound, such as over here. And yeah, that is a great trick to use when you are making these bass lines. I love to use the Scorey Rickenbacker bass. It's my go-to. I use it in every pain loop, so be sure to get it if you want to get a realistic, high quality bass VST. Alright, let's move on. So next off, I added this pad. This is from the DX7V. I made this pad by myself, just messing around on the plugin. And yeah, this is what it sounds like. Yeah, very beautiful, and I wanted this pad to just be on the background, and to do that I left the velocities on the notes very low so that the pad isn't as powerful and it sounds softer. Then I added a lot of reverb, turned the mix like halfway up, turned the low cut halfway up. Then I added a lot of EQ just to remove a lot of the frequencies and to make it more on the background. And yeah, this is just to add some space and some depth to the overall sample. Alright, so once I had every one of those elements down, I still figured that the loop needed something more. So I went on to vocal runs too, and I found these little runs that fitted perfectly on top of the melody. And yeah, for effects on the vocals, I added a lot of reverb, turned the mix to around 25, low cut halfway up. Then I added some delay just to make the vocals sound a bit more polished. Then I added some EQ to cut down the low end because I didn't want any muddiness on the loop. And yeah, this is what everything so far sounds like together. Alright, Alright, so once I had the vocals down, I figured that the loop still needed a bit more something, so I added this crash symbol. I love to use crashes on these pain loops. It adds a little bit of a nice realistic touch to the overall sample. I love to use a crash and then reverse it into itself, like over here. And how I make that is I just take the crash sample, make it as unique, then reverse it and just place it right here so that it reverses into the unreversed crash. And for effects on the crash, I just added a lot of delay. I turned the delay model to ping pong, turned the pan to around 70% so that the delayed crash is on different ear or different kind of side. Then I turned the output and the input wet knobs way down. And lastly, I just added this reverse guitar that you can get from the Ultimate Pain Multikit version 2 or the Ultimate Pain Multikit bundle. And yeah, little touches of ear candy like that really transform your melody to the next level, so be sure to start adding them if you don't already. But yeah, this was definitely more of a simpler melody that you have seen on the channel, which is good because I love simple melodies. You don't have to overcomplicate every single thing that you make. Usually simple is better because the artist has actually more room to rap on your beat. But yeah, that's about it for the tutorial. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. And yeah, the Ultimate Pain Multikit bundle is available right now at nitroaudios.com. Be sure to get it. It's the perfect kit for these kinds of pain melodies, and honestly I can say with confidence that it's the best kit available for pain beats right now. But yeah, leave a comment down below on what you want to see next on the channel, and without further ado, see you on the next video. Peace.